Alright, so I hear so many people saying that Alisa is a cheesy character. They say she's... So people say that Alisa is really cheesy by nature. And she's easy to cheese with, she has gimmicks and whatnot. But I think that any character can be cheesy at the lower level of Tekken, because your opponents barely have any defense, if at all. She does have some strings, but they are very easy to deal with. Unlike Josie's strings, or for example Nina's. Even Nina's strings are pretty easy to deal with, but they are still harder to deal with than Alisa's. They usually have no mix-ups to them at all. For example, down full 1+2. This is a low-high string, and there's no other option. There's no better option to this. Forward 4-1. This is also mid-high string, and there's no mix-up to this. All you have to do is duck the second hit and you're good to go. What's so difficult about that? While standing 1, 2, 3+4. This is also a string that online Alisas love. Once again, there's no mix-up to this. You just duck the second hit and you're good to go. I know this can be difficult, especially when you're new to Tekken. But you're gonna have to deal with strings like this with every single character. Even Marduk has cheesy strings, and he is not seen as a cheesy character. And these are just a few examples of the gimmicky stuff that low-level Alisas use. You don't need Mii's level of reaction time or Tekken God rank online to deal with these strings. They're super basic and they're really, really bad. I saw the main man compare Alisa to Paul, saying that Paul is not a lap character, but Alisa is. Well, how many players know how to deal with Paul's strings and how to avoid his 50-50s online? For example, Death Fist and Demo Man, without labbing. If good players can figure out Paul during a match, they can do exactly the same thing with Alisa, because they know how to use spacing. Have you seen the gimmicky Paul players online? They abuse strings the opponent cannot deal with, just like gimmicky Alisa players also. People complain not only about Alisa but Paul as well, so this is a clear indication of the fact that people don't know how to play versus Paul. But then again, people complain about any character they can't deal with. Alisa has this string, for example, back to 4. Okay, this is legit a good string, but this is used by high-level Alisa players. This is natural on normal hit, and it has a mid-mix-up. But yeah, that's about it when it comes to Alisa strings. There's not many strings that good Alisa players use. Then I hear stuff like, she's a lab character. A lab character is usually a character that has tons of setups and Okizami stuff like Xiaoyu that you need to research for a very long time in practice mode. Alisa barely has any Okizami and almost no setups at all. Go to YouTube, type in Alisa setups, and you'll barely find anything. Her Okizami is basic stuff like a down to 2 at the wall. Well, down to 3, no, down to 4 actually. Or a forward 2 3 in the open. But that's about it. She doesn't have much stuff other than this. Every character has some basic Okizami like this. For example, even Heihachi, who is not a lap character at all. He also gets stuff like this. For example, after his full crouch low, he gets a forward 2. So you can't even compare Alisa's Okizami to the Okizami of characters like Xiaoyu, or even Lili. Even Lili has setups and Okizami, but nowhere near the level of Xiaoyu. Then I hear people say she's cheesy and gimmicky because she's flying around. Well, she was introduced in Tekken 6, and having a stance like that was very uncommon and new in that game. But in Tekken 7, we have power crushes, wall bounces, fully invincible moves like dragon punches. We have to know how to anti-air against 2D characters. We have death combos from duck chaps. And so many more new mechanics that I just can't accept this as a valid argument. Tekken is evolving and we always need to adapt to new mechanics. If you want to know how to deal with flying stuff, interrupt it with jabs. For example, Alisa's running 2 or fly in 3-1, 1-2 or fly in 4, fly in 2. These are all interruptible with jabs. And she has only like one move that crushes jabs, which is this low. And her stances aren't even that strong. She's by no means a stance-heavy character. They are situational, and from each stance she has like, what, 5 moves? At most. And her core gameplay revolves around simple pokes like jabs, down forward 1s, forward 2, down back 3, down forward 4, and movement. Alisa is all about staying safe and using her keep-out tools and full crouch mix-ups. Also, another tip against Alisa is that she has good tracking at close range, but she lacks in tracking at mid-range, and a lot of her stuff is easy to backdash. So instead of trying to sidewalk or sidestep Alisa, you should backdash. And when you're at range 2, her running stuff like wall running 2, or wall running 3+4, and her flying stuff, they all can be evaded by a simple sidewalk left. So there's nothing difficult about that. Alisa is pretty easy to counter, and once you get the life lead about the Alisa player, she has to risk so much in order to make a comeback, so she really struggles to make a comeback. And that's it. This is all I have to say about Alisa. She's an honest character. She's... I don't know, I think she's a really good character for learning fundamentals. She has good movement, good punishers, good pokes. What else do you need? She's not a cheesy character. If you can't deal with these strings at red ranks, then how are you even a red rank? This is green rank stuff right here. Even this string, this has no mix-up. You just block the 2 hits and you punish it. It's simple.